Okay, I'm gonna start all over again. Welcome to World Farmers Markets Coalition April Studio on the topic of farmers markets mapping part 3. Welcome all. We have a very interesting discussion for you today. We're gonna get started without much ado. Okay. Can somebody show me, Alec, can you show me your thumbs up? Can you see my screen slideshow? Okay, we're gonna get started. I have to, okay, 1 second. Okay, so as usual, I am doing the greetings introduction right now. I open up. My name is Robin Moon. For those who have not been here before, welcome again. We have a brief presentation today, this session by Ha Tran from Hanoi, Vietnam, to set the stage for the topic we're talking about, which is, again, farmers markets mapping part 3, which might not be the mapping that you might be thinking about. We already had sessions 1 and 2. This is our third one, and this is a mapping topic. And we will have it says panel, but it's really going to be an informal and engaging conversation between Ha and Naima Akhtar from Dhaka, Bangladesh, who runs 16 farmers markets in Dhaka. Both women here, Ha and Naima, are also board members of founding board members of World Farmers Markets Coalition. And then we will also be engaging you in the chat, Q&A throughout the session, but we'll also have an open discussion with you. We really want to hear from you, all of you in the audience, what you think, if you agree, disagree, if you have any questions. Okay, our community agreements, as usual, really quickly, we are dedicating 1 hour to be here together. So we're going to be present and engaged. We will welcome and honor multiple viewpoints from around the world. We are bound to have differences in our opinions because we're very diverse. We will hold our judgments and disagreements softly, but we're going to talk about it. We trust others' intent. We also acknowledge how it might land, that we might have an impact on others, regardless of your intent. We will listen to learn, but also ask. Don't hesitate to ask questions to understand better. We make space for other people, and we will also take space when we need to speak up. And lastly, we will think in sentences, not paragraphs. 60 minutes is not a long time, and we have to respect everybody's space. So let's all keep this in mind. And then we will go, I'm going to talk for like a couple slides, and I'm going to hand it over to Ha. And Ha, I will introduce Ha formally after a presentation along with Naima. So farmers markets definition, a few months ago, we had a whole session discussing our working definitions, and thanks to all your input, we have been revising, we've been tweaking our definition. So this is what we have so far: a recurring and intentionally coordinated assembly of local keyword farmers or their representatives selling directly to the public local agricultural products they have grown, harvested, and or processed. So then the question today in the mapping session that we're going to talk about is that it doesn't say anything about its dedicated space or the structure. Does that say anything about this farmers market's characteristic based on its space, or does it need to be dedicated based on, depending on your country, your city's context? Also, who manages, who coordinates? Does it say anything about who must be coordinating? The definition is necessarily broad because we are the World Farmers Markets Coalition. We want to have a definition that fits all of the farmers markets we know in the world. So it's broad. So we are going to delve into those 2 questions broadly. Farmers markets around the globe, many cities in the world are lacking farmers markets the way we know it. I am sitting here in New York City. United States. I know the organization or coalition is based in Italy. The situations are very different, I think, and it's in a way very unique, depending on who you are. And thinking about what farmers markets mean. But we do know that these cities, many cities have a citywide network of already, like, public markets, not farmers market, but there's a market structure physically and legally and infrastructure wise. We also know that farmers bring their produce somehow to sell at local markets and informal markets, for example, mobile vendors is one example, but, we do have farmers come in. Is this coordinated? Is this managed? Is this a farmer's market? How can we make it a farmer's market? Can it be a step towards creating a farmer's market? So these are the questions. So Ha is now going to talk about a blend of retail vendors and farmer vendors at markets throughout the city. What does this mean? Are we still talking about farmers markets? With that, Ha, would you like to show us the case of Hanoi, Vietnam? Welcome, Ha.
Thank you, Robin. Hello, everyone. I'm very glad to be here today and allow me to present the case of Hanoi, Vietnam, my hometown. Robin, would you mind to move the slide? Okay, thank you. Yeah. Hanoi, my hometown city, is considered as the city of markets. For many years, we have maintained a citywide network of local markets. The entire city has a network of more than 450 markets. They cater the diverse food needs of Hanoi residents. And this map shows a very dense network of both formal and informal markets in the 4 urban core districts of the city. So you can see that here, every neighborhood in these districts has a market, either formal or informal. And this ensures most of the residents of the city have convenient access to markets within a walking distance. And farmer vendors have utilized this extensive market network to reach out to customers throughout the cities. We have 25 formal markets and 110 informal markets in the 4 urban core districts only. This is very huge number.
Can I ask a question, before you move on? How did you map this? How did you know there were 110 informal markets? I think that's fascinating to me that you have this map.
For the formal markets, we have the list of the Department of Trade, Hanoi Department of Trade from the list, but the informal markets, they do not have the list. So we have some intern students who go to every corner to map the markets, the informal markets. They are like street markets. In many other cities, they call street markets. They are not legally recognized by the government, so they do not have the list of the markets, these informal markets.
And you don't want to list them either because they're not really legal, right?
Yeah, right.
But yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So many of the farmer vendors here in those markets are living in or near Hanoi. And it may be interesting for you to know that despite of the fast urbanization, Hanoi still have a significant farming areas in the cities, and not only in suburban areas, but also in the inner city areas. And the farmers here doing farmer work in a very small land area or in a small gardens. And they directly sell their fresh produce such as vegetables, eggs, and fruits directly to customers to earn for living. So they bring the harvest to the market in the city center or nearby areas. Some of them engage customer to reach customer as mobile vendors along streets. Please go to the next slide. Yeah. So this photo show you the hard work of farmers working in small inner farm. It's in a small island in a red river which run across the city. The farmers had to wake up very early to harvest vegetables and transport them to the city center for sale. Next slide, please. Yeah, these are how farmer vendors are selling their produce along streets or in informal markets. Yeah, or as mobile vendor. Next slide, please. Yeah, people love to buy food from these farmer vendors because of freshness and reasonable price, and also because of a friendly conversation with the farmers.
There are a lot of these vendors. It looks almost like a farmer's market, small farmers markets.
Yeah, it's like unorganized. Unorganized. Yes, so they find any places that they find easy to reach customers for selling.
So they're like, say, in front of or next to like a public market, but they gather together. So there's green vendors, farmers sit together in one place, and then you call that informal market. Yeah.
Yeah, it's either in front of a formal markets or along streets whenever they find convenient for them for selling, for reaching the customers. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, so next I want to talk about the challenges for farmer vendors. So they spread out across the city for selling their produce, but they also faces a lot of challenges. And one of the challenges is that they cannot participate in market every day. So that's why they scatter around the city, spread around the city. Like, because in Hanoi, residents have a habit of buying food daily, every day. And local markets also operate daily. But farmers' schedules are very flexible because of their agricultural activities, their farming commitment. So they can only go to sell their produce directly whenever their farming work is less busy. So this makes them difficult to secure a fixed space or a store at the markets. That's why they choose to spread out the city, choose any places, the convenient places for them for selling. And they also cannot afford the vendor fees at the markets because these vendor fees are often imposed on monthly or quarterly basis. But the farmer do not sell every day. They do not sell consistently. So they lack a fixed space and cannot participate in markets. And without the permanent store or fixed location, the farmer vendors also lack visibility. Yeah. And as mobile vendor, the farmers has the advantage of moving around the city to reach customers. But because of lacking a consistent place, so they will find difficult to build customer trust and loyalty. So they do not have many regular customer, something like that. So that's also a challenge for farmer vendors. Yeah. And another challenge is that retail vendors at food markets also consider farmers vendors as competitors for vendor space and customers, especially when farmer vendors often sell their produce at a more reasonable price. Yeah, when I interview retail vendors at markets, they often request to chase away the farmer vendors. Yeah,
right.
So yeah, so obviously the farmer vendor need a more stable and supportive environment for their business.
So before we go into the panel discussion, I want to ask a question. So going back to our definition, I think that the space question is that there's no definition on the space for our farmers markets, but there is a definition on managing. So farmers market is managed. Would you say that these I guess farmers market corners, the informal markets would fit the definition of farmers market? Is there somebody who is coordinating? I think that if there's anything, any element missing here possibly might be that the coordination, the management. Is that right? Or is that actually being managed, however loosely, by someone?
In Hanoi, some street markets, they are managed by both authority, the local authorities, because yeah, not all of them, but some street markets, because in those areas they do not have fixed markets, permanent markets. So the local authority allowed street markets and they manage them.
Okay,
But
so it is sort of coordinated, but it just in the traditional way that we know in some other countries. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, but in some other street markets, they are not organized. Just the farmer vendors gather together, and and they often be chased by police because they occupy street spaces for business illegally.
Okay. But they're definitely direct selling. They're farmers, not the second selling.
As street markets, there are also retail vendors selling together with farmer vendors. Not only farmer vendors.
So those are not farmers markets. Okay.
Yeah. Some are mixed. I mean, a blend between farmers, vendors, and retail vendors.
Okay, great. Okay, so now we're gonna go into our conversation. So now I'm doing your introduction, and then we have Naima here. Ha Tran is board member to the coalition. Like I said, she's also the vice president of our board. She's the manager of the Livable Cities program with Health Bridge Foundation of Canada in Vietnam. She has extensive experience in policy advocacy through her work the Hanoi and the national Vietnam level and issues related to livable cities and placemaking. She has provided technical support to the government, Ministry of Trade and Industry to enhance the national policies on market management. Maybe you can talk a little bit about this in your conversation. And you continue to work with city governments, municipal level to improve physical and social conditions of street markets. And Naima from Bangladesh is a project manager for Livable Cities program at the Working for a Better Bangladesh or WBB Trust. And I mentioned already, she led the effort to establish 16 new farmers markets in Dhaka in the last less than 2 years by now, a little over 1 year, right? And continues to manage them. She collaborates closely with farmers, government officials, and community leaders on the ground for these market management. She works closely with Canada's Health Bridge Foundation again. So we're all friends and colleagues here to promote local markets, placemaking, and pedestrian rights. So welcome. These are I'm going to drop these questions in the chat for you to also have. These are some of the questions I would like us to talk about. So cities and neighborhoods where there are no standalone, authentic, that meaning by our definition, farmers markets, can we integrate farmers markets into existing market network while retaining the definition, the authenticity of farmers market? So I want to first ask both of you, is it still better to foster direct selling? Because that is what farmers market means. And why? Why is this better? If the answer is yes. Is it possible to create a farmers market corner be a symbiotic collaborative effort with the existing market players? So, again, while retaining farmers market definition that we have, can we still work with what is in the context in the case of Hanoi, for example? And what are some potential steps we can take to open what we call an authentic farmers market if you're not quite there yet? Could this, what you described, could this be one of the intermediate steps towards creating a real, authentic farmers market? So, we're going to talk about this. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay. So do you want to maybe answer? So is it still better to sell directly? And tell me why.
Yes, I think it's the direct selling is very good for both farmers and customers. We all know about benefits of direct sales, right? And especially as for housewife, I think that the fair price from direct sales is very important for housewife and for customers. I just want to highlight the point that for urban farmers, especially in Hanoi, direct sale to customer is also a way that they participate in urban life. Meaning provide them with an opportunity to actively participate in the local community. So that's also very important for urban farmers. Yeah, they're just not only staying within their farms and focusing on gardening, even though they are in Hanoi, but they do not know much about other thing outside, something like that.
So that's the linkage between urban and rural area. And why? Why do you think that's beneficial for the farmers to be connected to the cities?
Yeah, it's very important for them. You can understand more about the customer, so that's why they can, how to say, tailor their produce and how to meet the needs. So that's important for them, their business, right?
And Naima, obviously you believe direct selling is better because you run those markets. But do you think it's better? Because there are a lot of challenges. And why? Why is it better?
If I talk about this Asian context, in many cases, am I audible properly?
A little louder, please, if possible.
Okay. In many Asian countries, the condition of the farmers, if we think about it, they are highly dominated by the middlemen. So they are doing all this hard works of growing food and keeping this people of country alive with the production or the hard work they are doing. But the thing is, they're not getting the fair price of their products because of their hard work, because of this dominance of middlemen in this
Fair
whole
pricing.
system. Yes. So what happens when we are giving them this opportunity, or when they are given this opportunity to sell directly to the consumers, they have this opportunity to get the fair price, and also uh, their contribution. There is a thing of this the honor they need to get from the consumers, that we need to be we need to have some sort of uh, gratefulness towards them, that they are doing this hard work. So there is a recognition of their hard work as well. And also that creates the customer farmer relationship, definitely. And also there is a chance for them to understand that who really are their consumers, who are really getting the benefits. And also community people, especially the younger children, who don't have much ideas that how this food production works, how people are giving their hard works behind a plate of food he is getting it, he or she is getting on his table. So this relationship also works very well. So I think direct selling is very important.
Great. Naima, you sound a little faint, by the way. So is this volume as loud as you can while you're working on that? So I am wondering, Naima, you must also have those farmers, like a farmer corner or retail vendor selling, not different from what Ha described, but you also have your farmers markets. Do you see like competitions? Are there animosity between them? Where do like, do you see any, I guess, conflict, difficulties that your farmers experience because they have a dedicated farmers market space and, you know, compared to the rest?
Among the farmers, there were some sort of problems at the very beginning when we started the farmers markets, because they were not being able to understand that how it works and how they can have a bonding and can make profit by themselves, each of them having equal profits. They were having some sort of problems, but later they found out that they sorted out among themselves. Really, we didn't have to do anything to make the farmers understand that this is how you need to work. They understand and they sorted out among themselves. But if I talk about the mobile vendors that Ha was showing in in her presentation, mobile vendors were some sort of problem that we were facing at the very beginning, uh, because farmers were being some sort of threatened, because they were having a feeling that these farmers are taking away our businesses. And but there was a thing like that. At least they understood that this is a 1 week, 1 day in a week thing. So after a certain period of time, the whole area is his, and he can do his business whenever he wants. So there is some sort of threat, but we had to intervene. Definitely, we had to intervene in this time, that we had to persuade this mobile vendors that you will have to give this farmers some sort of time, maybe for 4 to 5 hours. Then you can come back to this place and do your business. And with the help of the local ward councillor, we could do it. So
There's
there was threat, definitely.
always a collaboration and, you know, help from the city.
Yes.
Back to I would love to ask you now to just like talk about this and also ask questions to Naima, yourself. So is it possible to create a farmers market corner, you know, through a collaborative effort with the existing market players? Sounds like there's a hybrid, there are what you might call, you know, I'm just gonna call it farmers market corner, you know, somehow coordinated, somehow protected by the city or somebody managing it. There are farmers selling, and then there's also street markets. That's mixture of retail vendors, right? So, and we all believe that here in this room anyway, you know, we believe strongly that direct selling is beneficial and that's the way to go. What is it possible? Like, what are some steps? So what do you need in Hanoi to establish a authentic, you know, definition of farmers market? And I think you might have some questions for Naima as to how she did it in Taka. Tell us, share with us, please.
Okay, so thank you, Robin. First, talking about farmers market corner. I think this could be a good initiative because farmer market corner can enhance the vibrancies of the existing market, right? And on the other hand, the corner can benefit from existing market foot traffic, like customer who visit the main market area, they can come to discover the farmer market corners. The corner also provide a fixed space of fixed areas for small scale farmers who may not afford full-time market store. However, I think that organizing farmer market corner inside existing markets also have some difficulties, because it is quite difficult it's very important not very difficult, but important to find an appropriate area in the market without disrupting the overall market layout. So this requires thoughtful planning and designing, right? And also we need to define criteria for farmers, vendors who are eligible to participate in the corner. Who are farmers and who are not really farmers. It's very difficult to distinguish. I think it's quite difficult to distinguish them if they come to there and say, "Oh, I'm farmer vendors." How do we know that? You know what I mean, right? Yeah, and also existing markets, they already have retail vendors. So the competition among farmer vendors and retail vendors also need careful management, especially if you want to give, if you intend to give preferential to farmer vendors, like lower fees or something like that. And many retail vendors, they're also low income earners, and they also belong to vulnerable groups, and they also need, how to say, preferential, and they need protected, something like that. So we need to ensure that the participation of farmer vendors will not negatively affect the business of retail vendors. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking about.
And then for you to achieve that, what do you need? Rand is asking here, are the local authorities always supportive of direct sales for farmers? Do you need your local authorities to support this? Do you need like financial support? I mean, we all need financial support, but you know, like what is it that you need to get to that place?
Local authorities, I think they support direct sale from farmers. I know some initiative from farmer association working with local authorities to find a way to marketing the farmer produce directly to consumers. Yeah.
Do you have any questions for Naima as to how she did it? I know there's the you know, project support, I guess, by not really financially, but you know, the FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization was involved, and who else? Like, how did you get there, Naima, in such a short period of time?
Well, you're absolutely right, Robin. This was supported by Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. So our strategy was we took support, definitely we took support from the city corporations and local authorities. We call them local ward councillors, because it is not possible to do anything without their permission, because it is their jurisdictional area, and if we want to do anything without their permission and support, then everything is going to be a mess. And also we took support from Department of Agriculture Extension of our country, because the aim of the project was to ensure access of safe food. I'm again saying it's safe and not organic. Safe in terms of using pesticides and the
Fertilizer.
fertilizers in a limited amount, which is tolerable by the human body. So we needed to find out those farmers who actually practice safe farming. So we had this sort of thing. So we took support from them, and with the support of community people, local ward councillors, and Department of Agriculture Extension, we actually did this. We started our farmers market journey. At this moment, we started with 16, but at this moment, we only have 13 going on in our country.
Okay. And then for me, a provocative question might be, so if the question, going back to my question, so if you are to open or manage a farmer's market as part of an existing public market, So they might let you say, like, sell right outside their physical structure, or they might even give you a corner within the physical structure. And Naima, your markets right now, I had the privilege to see them. It's on the streets, and I know that there are many pros and probably many cons of being on the streets, especially rainy days or really hot days and dust, and so do you see any advantage of having your farmers market? Like, imagine if your farmers market were actually sitting right next to the existing public market, the location. What might be benefits and challenges with that?
In terms of, if I talk about the opportunities of shifting our market locations to existing farmers markets, there are a number of opportunities or benefits, if I talk about it, because
Mm-hmm.
the things you were talking about, definitely the shade, because of hot and rainy season, of course it is there. um, and there are also some sort of things like, uh, we couldn't organize any sort of fish or meat, I mean livestock, um, products
Mm.
and
Mm-hmm.
fish in our markets, because we didn't have enough facilities. So we had to only bring those products which do not need this processing zone. So if we can incorporate our markets in a existing local market, those benefits will be there, and farmers will be, we will be able to mobilize more farmers. So obviously that's the thing, but there are definitely some problems, because if I talk about the challenges, definitely
Uh-huh.
because the existing vendors, there is a question that how they are going to perceive the farmers, because when people will find something new, farmers are selling, they're getting directly from the farmers, it will definitely attract the people, and maybe the existing vendors will not like this,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
thing. There is a problem with that. And also there is the thing is, the farmers will not be able to come to the market every day like the other markets, like the other vendors. They will be able to come to the market once a week or max twice a week, because as they are also working in their fields, in their farms, it's not possible for them to come to the market every day. So maybe it can have some effects on their cells. There
Mm-hmm.
are pros and cons, definitely.
Sure.
To,
Well, they can sell not every day. They can say, the market can say the farmers market corner is open Friday, Saturday, or so if you that's part of, I think, marketing. But I see your point. If the organization will allow the space, they want it to open every day, right? Yeah, so that's a challenge. How about you, Ha? Are there any possibilities? I know that this might be a point of contention, and that's why I asked the question, is direct selling still better? Because there are a lot of reselling, there, ladies and, like a middleman structure is a little different in every country. There are very strong, powerful middlemen. I know that, but there are also, you know, I think a lot of women, but not just women and men selling, buying from the farm and selling it in neighborhoods where there's no farmers market. They go early in the morning, and they, like, and then they're gone, but, they sell, and that's the only way that they make their living. So, and I've seen that in many countries, I think in like South Asia and maybe some Africa too. So, what do you think, Ha? Are there possibilities for farmers markets corner beyond what you already have? And the mobile vendors will always be there to compete with them.
Okay, Robin. In Hanoi, I think there are we have some pilots try to create a collaboration between retail vendors and farmers. Like the farmer directly provide their produce and their farming information to retail vendors. And by
Interesting.
doing that,
Uh-huh.
by doing that, the farmers can sell produce every day, and they can bypass wholesale providers. But this is not considered direct sale from farmers to customers. Though the retail vendor, if they already visited the farms and they know the information from the farmers, they can provide the customer with how to say, information about the vegetables or the fruits, etc., how they grow them. But not really direct sale from farmer to customers. So yeah, and one another way to how to say uh, to promote collaboration between regular vendors and farmers, that we can have kind of a cross promotion or joint marketing methods, like farmers when farmers they introduce retail vendors as the main channel of distribution, they produce like that.
Okay. Naima, do you have any advice for Ha and Hanoi to get to, I think that, and others can jump in now. I'm going to ask you to, ask us questions, ask the panelists questions. I think that what you have in Hanoi and many other cities might be a really close step towards having like a, real, what we call, farmers market. Naima, do you have any advice for Hanoi and Ha to take the next steps?
If she thinks that yes, they
Mm,
want to pilot
hear
something
you.
like a farmers market.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can't hear you, Naima.
Yes, but I can't hear anything, Naimapa.
Others, are you
Better.
being
Yeah.
able to hear me?
Yeah, now it's better. I think your mic needs to be closer to
Okay.
your mouth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So, if Hanoi really thinks that yes, they want to do any sort of piloting or any sort of farmers markets, I would suggest that they can start with a small pilot. They can select a space, or maybe if it is something like that, they want to do it as an existing market space, that can also work with. But they can even choose a open public space, and then they can go forward with the plan. They can start with some small farmers group, and they can pilot that whether the community people is really liking it or not, and then they can actually approach for something bigger.
And what kind of financial need, Naima, for what you're describing, this pilot to happen? What would you need? What would Ha need?
uh, at the very beginning, there are several things. There is some need of this equipment that is necessary for the farmers market, just like we did with some very temporary things like umbrellas, sitting arrangement like stools, and white plastic sheet to organize the products. This sort of things, very keeping it as much as simple as possible, so that you don't need so many money to start your pilot. And there is another thing, because in the city areas, it's not always free or cheap to sit on the street. You need to pay a high price to sit and sell your products. So there can be to avoid this, there can be a discussion with the local ward councillor that we will be doing this good initiative in your jurisdiction area. So please let us use this space for one day in a week for free. So that can be his in kind contribution. And at the very beginning, maybe there is a need to bring the farmers, when they're bringing the farmers to the community, maybe there is a need to subsidize their transportation cost at the very beginning. So
Transportation
when
cost.
they are, yes, so when they are coming at the very beginning, they will be skeptical to participate to the market, because they will think that whether I'm going to make any profit or not, is it going to be beneficial or not. So this sort of questions will be in the minds of the farmers, and it's very common, it's very normal. So at the very beginning, for 2 to 3 months, maybe you need to subsidize the transportation cost, and then they will be there on their own, that now you need to carry on your own costs.
So basically, you're talking about the market manager, market coordinator's job, but they also need to get paid. So that's also that should not be a volunteer work. So I think that's probably a large chunk of the financial need. I think what like what Hanoi might need more than what it has now is a farmers market management. Like WBB, because your organization does not run farmers markets. Are there organizations that run markets like this that is not public market, but farmers market in Hanoi?
Healthwish does not run farmer market directly, but we support Slow Food Hanoi. I think Vic is here. She can talk a little bit about that. But we support Slow Food Hanoi to organize weekend farmer market. We can say farmer market because we invite farmers and producer directly sell.
Oh no, I want to talk about that. Before I go there, one more question, I know your bio, your work includes market advocacy, policy advocacy for markets. Can you tell us a little bit about your work in the past to advocate markets, including, I'm guessing, farmers markets?
Yes, we are advocating the government through evidence and pilots. Through evidence, we are working on evidence-based advocacy through pilot and research.
Evidence-based advocacy.
Through pilots and research, and the pilot that we support Slow Food Hanoi to do is one of the pilots that we are trying to advocate the government. So in recent days, we are supporting the Ministry of Trade and Industry to develop a policy on market management, in which we try to advocate them to recognize street markets as a type of market, because we think that it's very important to give legal status to vendors on the street markets. Once they have legal status, that means they have a kind of supportive environment to their business. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Big, I'm gonna add you to the highlight. Can you share with us? I know we heard a lot about Hanoi's market by now. Tell us about your market and the questions I've been asking. Like, is it possible to make farmers markets corners in existing markets? How does your market, Slow Food Hanoi, work? Tell us everything.
Thank you, Robin, and thank you, chị Hà, for mention and support Slow Foods Hanoi so far. And in fact, before creating for the weekend market in Hanoi, we have discussed with her about for the initiative, and then we involved in the public space. Out of that, we can organize the weekend market in the public green open public space. Because Hà worked in the field of the livable city and related to the public space a lot, and also according to the like the characteristic of the 5 big cities like Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh, Hải Phòng, Cần Thơ, and Da Nang. And we also have the old collective housing, and there are a lot of the playgrounds there. And I think that it needs to be the share public space to get the benefit for the community there. And therefore, when I share with her about for the organizing the market through the initiative of reactivating the public space, and also it has the components of the weekend carnival and weekend market for the community. And then we also conduct and organize the market in order to pilot and to see how the market will be, especially for the participation of the farmers. And we also invite the certified farms and the certified products from the farmers and the community, and the urban residents are really highly appreciate because they can have the fresh product. And as well as we intend to, at that time we intended to organize the farmers corner in order that the farmers came there and then share the lesson learned between farmers as well. However, when we organize some kind of the sessions of market, there are some kind of the difficulties. Although the local authority, they support, even though the farm, they have the certified product, but they say that the transportation costs and also the save time, waste time to come from their farm to the areas is quite challenged with their job, because they want to focus on the production. And in my observation, the farmers in Vietnam is not compared with the developed countries, like where I visited, and they want to have support for the transportation as well as the space. And recently, I discussed with the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. They said that they can support slow food community in Hanoi with some kind of very big event, and they can provide the venue for farmer, and then we can create the farmer corner. However, we also still challenged with the transportation costs and the wasting time of the farmers when they come there, because they say that in case they cannot sell all the fresh vegetable, how come? And other time, I also thinking some kind of the activities to work with, like the supermarket or big company or traders. They can buy their vegetable, but it still have some kind of challenges to work with those partners, because they have to maybe make some kind of the progress time for checking the quality and the market there. And in my team, I also discussed with the ministry to organize the agroecological consumption day, in order that the farmers can have some kind of the competition between farms and farmers, in order that they can share their experiences with the consumers, and also have some kind of the experiences and lesson learned to the consumers. And that is just for the initial thinking for upcoming June. After that, in my opinion, it needs to have some kind of the mechanism to support, even for the market operator or management.
100%. Yeah. I put these photos up again. These are beautiful photos, but like literally they're like bicycling uphill to get to the market. And the kind of definition of small farmer, and say in places like Hanoi, Vietnam, and the US, or even, in Rome, like very different. you know, the transportation need is dire. So yeah, this is, I mean, just from these photos, you can tell immediately how challenging it must be for the farmers to come to the city, wherever the market is, to sell, right?
Even I can recognize for the pictures in Ha's presentation, and I also discussed with her whether we can organize the on-site farmers market in that areas. But the thing that is the illegal land, and that is the not really farmers, but they are the growers. And how they don't have the certified products. And how we can handle with that? We cannot organize the market with the uncertified product,
right?
but we can share just only for the lesson learned for some kind of the how to say, the planting and or experience in the growing vegetable, because we Slow Food Hanoi also support us the support and in the progress to support with the ministry for the promoting the sustainable transformation of the food system through the healthy diets, and therefore we cannot do that.
Yeah. And I will also, lastly, time is up, time flies when we have fun. I would also add that in countries and places like this, it is important to get along with other types of sellers, right? The growers you mentioned, Beck, and you know, if they're reselling, but that, like, they're all very small scale. The point is to not get rid of them, but to get along and to distinguish, you know, what farmers market is, and you know, who are the farmers and who are not the farmers. I think it's important that you all get along and find space for all of, you know, all of them to coexist. So therefore, working with the existing larger public market space, I think might be more realistic and, you know, really huge step towards establishing a standalone authentic farmers market. Any last minute questions, comments from anybody? Thank you for those who have been dropping comments in the chat. In the second session, we're going to go to Africa. Bone Sensasi from Kampala, Uganda, will be presenting the actual farmers market corner, complete symbiosis of farmers markets and farmers and the existing market. There's a case study, and we will also have a conversation with Solon from Ghana about how Ghana might get there, just like Uganda. So it's a, you know, it's a little, today is a little unique in that we have two different conversations. So for those who are interested and have time, please show up, and we will hear from the African perspective. Time is up otherwise. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Ha. Thank you, Naima. And thank you, Big, for joining the conversation. This is really, really important for the coalition to understand the diversity of farmers market situation and how we can support all kinds of farmers markets and farmers in the world. So thank you for teaching us. And thank you for everybody who came, and maybe I'll see you some of them again in the session 2, 6 p.m. Central European Daylight Savings Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time with our African friends. Have a great evening. Have a great day. See you later or next month.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Oh, yes.
Excuse me, I know it has been very quick. I mean, I just wanted to ask, because the lady who was talking, we couldn't hear her. You know, I could barely hear, so I really didn't hear what she was saying.
I think the recording will probably enhance the sound. Yeah, these things happen. We're so sorry.
So is there anything like in 2 words important that we can keep in mind? from what she
Um,
said.
True words. I think Naima said many important things. I think that she talked about the importance of having a separate farmers market and promote direct selling. And there might be, if the farmers market will become part of, like physically part of an existing public market space, there are benefits, but also challenges. Naima, I'm speaking for you because I can speak louder. And there are some steps that places like Hanoi can also follow. Dhaka's example, by maybe starting with a pilot farmers market. And in along the way, it's really important to figure out, this is like me saying, ways to get along with other, either resellers or growers, like Vic was talking about. These are, this is all part of our community. And to promote farmers market and, identify who they are at the same time is very important. I think something like that, right?
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, thank you very much.
So sorry about the sound, but
And I'm
this
really sorry
happens
for
again.
my
No,
headphone
it
in
happens.
this
It's
sort of
okay.
disturbance.
But that's what the recording is for. Hopefully the sound will be enhanced in the recording. So, okay, now you can really, we went over.
Thank you.
Bye everybody.
you,
Thank you for your
Naima.
question.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for your interest.
Thank you.
See you
Thank you. All the
later.
best.